Welcome back on the AM show. Thank you for staying with us. Now, we kickstart our conversation from the second leg. We're heading to Liberia, where over 120 observers have been dispatched by the Economic Community of West African States for tomorrow's election in that country. And now all counties in the country will have ECOWAS presence. So far, the long-term observation team has been working with the National Electoral Commission in Liberia to resolve concerns raised by some stakeholders. Nanaya Ojima has been in Monrovia for the election. He caught up with Samuel Koku Anyidoho. I'll be interacting with him shortly, but for now, let's listen to some of the engagements he has had so far.
2 days away from the big election in Liberia. It's the fourth consecutive election since Liberia adopted democratic rule. Today, ECOWAS is dispatching its observers to the various counties here in Liberia. And Mr. Samuel Kweku Anyidohu, a Ghanaian and a politician for that matter, is one of the observers on this mission. I'll be having a brief interaction with him about what he has picked up so far. He's been through town, he's been observing things within Liberia, Monrovia to be precise, and he's picked a few things. Let's go straight to him and have a conversation with him. Mr. Anyidohu, welcome.
Well, thank you, my brother.
How has your stay been?
Well, excellent so far.
So we are a few days away from the big election. Now, we know that the UP, the Unity Party, is trying to stage a comeback in Liberia. CDC now is in power, is in control, but it looks like the UP is doing everything possible to snatch power from them. What has been your observation so far?
Well, as you are aware, I'm an ECOWAS observer from Ghana, of course under the auspices of the Atamils Institute, and so we are just here to observe. So like you said, today is the main deployment day. I am going with my team to Nimba County, which is about 6 hours drive from Monrovia. But what we've observed so far is that the security situation seems very much under control. There's no heightened security tension. Yesterday, for example, was the main campaign day, last one for the Unity Party. And throughout town, they flowed freely. You hardly saw heavy military police presence. And then, interestingly, I happened to be around the headquarters of the CDC, which is the ruling party. And there was not a single human being in CDC colors intending to stop the UP Unity Party from proceeding. And for me, I think that the general feeling is that in the build-up to the elections on Tuesday, the political parties are campaigning freely. Of course, today is also the last day for the ruling government, so the city is going to be awash with their. Yesterday it was green and white, so we observed deployed short-term observers. We have long-term observers have been in for more than a month. The chairman and the head of the ECOWAS observer mission is Professor Tahiru Jega, former INEC boss from Nigeria. So generally we think that the processes have been okay, but as we go into the counties today, 2 days prior to the election, we are now going to pick up exact details from the counties in terms of whether materials are available, whether the polling officers, polling stations are ready, and whether the political parties on the ground also are up and ready for what will happen on Tuesday.
Thank you very much. So ECOWAS has about 120 observers here, and as you can see, here are some of these buses ready to pick up these observers and take them to the various counties. They will be doing their jobs. So it's been a peaceful process so far. ECOWAS is on the grounds and they are doing everything possible to ensure that Liberia continue to have peace even during the process and after the process. So far, the information we have is that the National Electoral Commission here is working closely with the ECOWAS team to deal with some of the challenges that have been raised by these political parties, and things are in place, and the whole of the Liberian country is very calm, and they are ready for the election on Tuesday. From Monrovia for Joy News, Nana Yaojima reporting.
Welcome back on the AM show. Our feed was truncated, and that was why we could not get to Nana Yaojima. We're going to do that shortly, but just a reminder that we're staying on the Liberian situation. 20 candidates vying, 19 of them trying to oust George Opongwea, who has been in power since 2017. He's seeking a second electoral term. Well, Nana Yaojima earlier had some conversations. That's our citizens microphone today. He had some conversations with ordinary Liberians, also including Ghanaians in Liberia. We'll take that, right after which we'll be engaging Nana Yaojima on what the latest is ahead of elections tomorrow.
Good morning and welcome to Monrovia, Rano Street to be precise, and it is a commercial area. As you can see, it's a whole street with a lot of people, parading their wares on the streets for others to come in here and buy. It's a very busy street, they tell me, but since it's still early in the morning, the people are now coming into town to start their daily activities. Already, these young men you see behind me, they all trade in second-hand clothing. They all trade in clothing, and as you can see, these tanks or these barrels have their wares in there. That's where they keep it. In the morning, they come out, pick them out, and start parading them on the streets for people to come in here and trade with them. Due to the election that is being held tomorrow, that's Tuesday, I would want to engage them. There's election coming on 10th. What's your opinion about this?
Well, actually, the election are coming. For me, my opinion, the most important thing is to pray for peaceful election, transparent and peaceful election. For me, for this election are coming.
So what are you doing to ensure that Liberia has a peaceful election?
Provided when the result is coming, people accept the result. Because at time in your game, you expect a defeat. And when defeat comes, you embrace it, but not to take it into a violent out.
What do you think about the current government? Do you think that Georgia has done more to deserve a second term?
Wow, for me, from the situation surrounding the current government, for me, I see there's a reason for him succeeding the second term. Because we see a lot of development, a lot of opportunity, a lot of environment. For the past government, we have been doing normal business here. People have been running, we have been chasing her. But since we get into the government, we have been peaceful and free to do our normal business. So for which I'm seeing, it will better get the second term.
You think he deserves a second term?
Yeah, he deserves a second term.
All right. Thank you very much. So, come closer. Tell me about your opinion on Tuesday's election. What do you think?
Firstly, we want to congratulate ECOWAS for sending our peace people into Liberia. They say here our judgment and we see many development going on into the country. But say the same Liberian trying to say George, we are not working, it says here. But only appealing to Liberian people to select George we are for the second round. And to this true George we are government, the hustle on we lie. Don't see police chasing off from one place to another. People now running around with a market. So I appealing to Liberian to elect George we are for the second round into Liberia.
There are a lot of people preaching peace in this election. Are you ready for one?
We prepare for war. Liberia from 14 years say war. We see nothing. The country stay back up. Then it's supposed to say they want to bring war back to Liberia. We prepare for war.
All right. Thank you very much. So there are lots more people joining in here, and the message is simple. Ultimately, they are all seeking for peace in this election. And secondly, they're also giving us their thoughts on which party they believe can help move Liberia forward. Thank you very much for joining us here on Joy News. Tell me, how prepared are you for the election?
I'm fully prepared, 100%.
Is your name on the register?
Of course, my name is, I'm registered to vote.
So, there's a lot of talks concerning peace in this country. Are you ready for one, or are you working towards ensuring that there is peaceful election?
For me, I'm wishing for peace because war is not good. War carried out backward before, so we are a living testimony of war. So anybody who talk and thinking about war, that person is enemy of our own country, Liberia. So we have no space in the country for war. We here for peace, and we pray to God that the election should go smoothly.
So we know there's an opposition party who is seeking to come back into government, and there's Georgia, who has had also a first term, 6 years. That's his first term. Between the two parties, who are leaders when it comes to the 20 that are seeking for this election, which one do you think can help move Liberia forward?
The CDC, Congress for Democratic Change, they had a vision to move Liberia forward because they are already started. Those people who left from there, from the past 12 years, why are they going to change? Where are they coming to change? Why did they not change? They want to change. Why the laws that they're looking for to find? So now we prefer the current president to be re-voted to be the next president of people Liberia because he's doing well. There are a lot of things that they not set in the country that he try to set it. People try to blame 175-year-old problem on someone who just a president for 5 years. It will never be that. Change is a process. It's a gradual thing. So we are on the red trajectory of change. So we cannot change what we are for those that never did anything for us. For now, we prefer President Job and we are to be the next president.
You think Georgia should be maintained?
Yeah, Georgia should be re-elected because for what we have seen for the past 5 years, Georgia have worked in like 3 years because coronavirus took all the world for 2 years. So we also saw the 12 years from the past government that we didn't see anything, but at least we are anticipating something good, and we are also having something good. So Georgia re-election is a must.
You share same sentiment?
No. So we don't have no leadership ability. So we don't have no leadership ability. I'm a son of this soil. I'm a born Liberian. So we are.
And those are some scenes from Monrovia in Liberia. Just to situate the conversation before I cross over to Naojima via the phone lines, you would notice that in the last election in 2017, George Opongwea had to scrape it through in the second round, securing 61% of the votes. He actually beat someone who had been vice president for 12 years, Joseph Boakai. The interesting bit, both Joseph Boakai and George Opongwea are from the indigenous Liberian group. They are not of the so-called elite group like Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who was president before George Opongwea came to power. He beat Joseph Boakai, and this time of the 19 who are seeking to replace George Opongwea, Joseph Boakai is one of them, hoping to return. He's actually 78, and this is the last opportunity he'll have to contest. Well, to situate the conversation for us, we have Nanaya Ojima, who finds himself in Monrovia in Liberia. Nanaya Ojima, so walk us through what you have seen or experienced since you got to Monrovia in Liberia and what the scenes look like ahead of tomorrow's elections.
The country is very calm. Things are very, very calm within the streets of Monrovia. Ordinarily, if you should go through the streets, it will be very hard to detect that there is something upcoming tomorrow. What will draw your attention to the election tomorrow is the huge billboards and also posters that are mounted in the streets of Monrovia. Aside that, you don't hear people, having active conversation about the election itself, unless you decide to move to them and try bring up such a conversation. Going into the minds of people, trying to talk to them and get what they think about the election, what they are largely requesting is that all the interested parties in this particular election, the National Election Commission, the ECOWAS, the AU, and all the other parties work together towards ensuring that there is credible election in Liberia, and they are anticipating peace after the election. It looks like none of the people that I've spoken to so far is ready to go back into the dark ages of the country's history. So they are all working towards ensuring that they cast their ballots, and peacefully they wait for the ballots to be counted and a winner declared by the National Electoral Commission. So things are very calm in Monrovia.
Testing President Opong Weah. There's quite a list, 19 of them, including Joseph Boakai, who was agriculture minister at the time when Samuel Doe, that is a long time ago when even I was in Liberia then. And then he is trying to, replace George Opong Weah. Tell us about the opposition in Liberia currently and what the people have shared with you concerning them.
So the country is sharply divided, especially in Monrovia, between the two candidates. The other 18 is very hard to, hear conversations going on about the other 18. I'm speaking for the Monrovia, the city of Monrovia, the areas I have been to so far. All you hear on the streets is either the CDC or the UP. On Saturday, the UP had their final in Monrovia, and you could see the crowd. It was a large crowd that were part of the final rally. And how they actually do these rallies is that the crowd that follows these candidates or these political parties come together from the party headquarters and march through the principal streets of Monrovia just to show numbers and tell people that there's likelihood or they are in good position to win the election, the upcoming election that will be held in the country. So on Saturday, the UP had theirs. They went through the principal streets of Monrovia, and everybody who saw the numbers would think that if it comes to the show of numbers, it looks like they are in front. But yesterday, that's on Sunday, the CDC also did the same exercise, and the numbers there were also very, very huge. So it's very difficult to determine which one is in front when it comes to the show of numbers. These political parties, they are strongly contesting the other. If you speak to the ordinary man who believes in Georgia, he will tell you that when Georgia came to power, security situation have improved in Liberia, and for that reason, it is enough for them to start or to vote Georgia. They also tell you about the development that Georgia is embarking on in the country. They speak of roads, they speak of football pitches, they speak of schools and other things that Georgia is building in the country. So they believe that when it comes to development, Georgia is doing a lot. But mind you, the Georgia's campaign is dubbed development champions. So he's touting his achievements when it comes to development in Monrovia or in Liberia as a country. But his opponents will doubt the achievement that is being put out there by the party in power. What they will tell you is that when it comes to the economic situation, Georgia hasn't done enough to put the country in a better state when it comes to their economy. Also, they are also doubting the credibility when it comes to the security situation. They believe that this achievement that they are touting or the CDC is touting is not true. They cannot take it as a whole. They believe that Mr. Boakai, when he comes to power, will do much more better than what Georgia has done in the past 6 years. They are comparing Johnson Sirleaf and Georgia's achievements, and they believe that the UP is way beyond the CDC.
And Nanaya, right before you go, just a brief comment. We also know that in the last few elections, there have been runoffs. From the information you're picking, is it likely, with the 20 contestants, is it likely that this election too will go into a runoff?
you just drew my attention to that as well. When you go into the principal streets of Monrovia, a lot of the people are predicting a runoff in this election, especially with 18 others who they believe can pull some of the ballots in this particular election. So if they are able to pull some of the numbers, it is very likely that Georgia and also Mr. Boake will not be able to make the 50+1 mark that they are supposed to make to be able to call victory for one of these parties. So a lot of people are predicting a runoff in this election. So whoever you meet and the person gets to know that you are with the ECOWAS and you are here to observe the election and also report on it, the question they put to you is that when are you leaving? When you tell them when your flight is scheduled, they will ask you to extend your date because they believe that this election will go for a second round. So a lot of people here are predicting a second round, and it's very hard to hear one-touch victory for either of the two candidates. But let me also draw your attention to the work that the AU and the ECOWAS are doing in Liberia. They are supporting them with logistics and also human resources to help Liberia get a credible election. Now, the major issue is how the election materials will be dispatched tomorrow. Already, I understand that the National Election Committee have been able to hire some helicopter to help them with the dispatch of these materials. Also, the ECOWAS and other bodies have donated some vehicles to enable the NEC reach some hard-to-reach areas within the country. So things are in place. Information that I have from the National Electoral Commission is that they are almost ready. They are just putting up, they are dotting their I's and crossing their T's to ensure that there is credible polls tomorrow here in Liberia.
Thank you.
What the Liberian people are very, very, anticipating is that they are able to have a credible election. The data or the results is able to be, transferred quickly and efficiently to the headquarters of the National Electoral Commission, so that at the end of the day there will be a peaceful and credible election in Liberia.
Nanayo Jima reporting from Monrovia, bringing us the live scoop as far as what is happening there. That election likely to go into a runoff with about 20 candidates vying tomorrow to become president. Of course, the current president, George Oppongwe, also looking forward to a second term. Well,